Alrighty. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. I mean, I have. I'm a year older, so here's what it is. How's everyone doing? Nothing to show off right now, because basically what I'm working on is sewing. Actually, I tell a lie. Hey, Press Ricard. Hey, Nellis. Oh, yep, so I've made these casts of my ears. Oh, can't really see them in the light. There you go. So, yep, I can use those to make some latex ears later down the line. So what I'll do this time is I'll basically make proper casts of them so I can use those to mould more ears, like I said. And basically I'll try and get them to accurate to Karlak so I can use the same ears for my cosplay for that. No less. Bogrit, I told him Millennium Hand and Shrimp. I appreciate the Discord reference. Willow, hey, it's the birthday girl. Ooh, that's me. And hope you're doing well, Prez Ricard. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Give me a sec, controllers. Being dramatic. There we go. No less. It's a foul old Haku. Oh my god. Yeah, I think Terry Pratchett came up with that by running I think it was They Might Be Giants lyrics for a randomness generator. Like one of the, back in the day, the thing was to basically run something through Google Translate or another automated translation program and then run it back again. I can't remember what the lyrics were, what song it was though. But yeah, hopefully everyone's had a good week so far. I mean, I've had a decent week because I've not been at work. Now that's unfortunately coming to an end tomorrow because I'm slowly running out of groceries, so I'm going to have to go to a shop, ideally not the one I work at. Yep, exactly, no, so we're talking to Mac tonight, who I believe is a moon-shaped mascot we don't have in this country. Hey, Icky. How's it going? Oh yeah, so you'll notice by the way I've switched back to my latex horns just because they're easier than the sort of silicone horns, which to be fair I was very pleased with. Still gonna work a bit on styling this wig, but I think I've got it down. I might actually sort of actually nix these and pull the whole thing back. Exactly, sometimes comfort is king. But yeah, hopefully soon I'll have some ears to go with this, and also I'll have some, well, I'll have to make some new gloves because these ones have holes in them, and also some new sort of claw nails. Nullis, Mac tonight was a vanishingly short-lived McDonald's mascot. Before your time, you think? Oh, fair enough then. I was actually watching a video. Apparently, the American McDonald's used to do deep-fried apple pies, which does actually, to be fair, sound amazing. And thank you for the quote, Icky. Press Ricard, Reddit says it was Particle Man. Oh yeah, Millennium Hand, that makes sense. Particle Man doesn't like Particle Man. Nellis, mic could be a smidge louder, maybe the game as well. Oh, hold on. Let's just raise this up a bit. Okay, does that sound a bit louder, Nellis? But yeah, I'll turn up the game slightly. There you go. Hopefully that sounds better. Okay, good. Okay. So, story so far. The victim was stabbed, but apparently not dead yet. She's in a coma. The suspect, Mr. Natsume, is a Japanese student apart from the protagonist, who's apparently studying English. Specifically English language, even though he'd prefer literature. The cops are exactly as you'd expect them to be, and this right here is his landlord and his maid. As in his landlord's maid, not the suspect's maid, because he's a penniless writer and a student. Anywho, about Mr. Natsume. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garadeb, please do tell us. Nullis, just realised Mr. Knight's got an 1812 Beastrum in the corner. Oh yeah, the cannon. Excellent Beethoven reference, excellent Tchaikovsky reference, no less. Oh yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then? I have 2 lodges most of the time. One on the ground floor, one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago, you see. There'd been a... Dash it all, Joan. Do be careful. Oh my goodness. I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. Oh hey, she's just like Enfys. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure. No, let's... Tchaikovsky, no. Tchaikovsky, yes. Explosions. Tchaikovsky, always yes. Yep. He really... it's the kind of the musical version of Exit Pursued by a Bear. Every performance just has an opportunity to do something really extra. Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Oh yes, indeed there was. And she's dying to tell us. Okay, the shady lodger. How do you notice anything else about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes. The man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is. More than anyone could ever read. And you never so much as passed the time of day without another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day. Comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night. But I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. So what were you doing up then? Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh. I understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct? That's right, yes. They're both below us. On the first floor, and street level. Then, how do you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times they come back at the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed.
Good grief, Joan. Be more careful, man.
Oh my goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Something doesn't add up here.
Okay, the incident 2 days ago. It seems the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time?
The window? There's been a window here the entire time? Why don't you tell me, Joan?
Yes, we noticed the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garrett-Deb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan?
No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Oh, I see.
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated.
Well.
Yes?
Was there something then? Well, nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time. Ah! For the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing.
Oh dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Do be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow?
Oh, yeah?
I have an exceedingly good memory, as far as I remember. Nothing of any significance took place here at that hour, nothing at all.
Oh, really? Mr. Garrett? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... Ah!
I guess this is the inverse of spilling the tea.
Joan, dash it all, what's the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened?
Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan?
That's right, Mr. Garrett.
What's the matter with these two?
Sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. But what?
I wish I knew.
Mr. Natsume's room?
Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly. Just below us on the first floor.
And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak?
Yes. Told me Nat his name, had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services?
That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean. Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we'll have to try.
We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Okay, let's have a look around the room then.
That's a full-size cannon. What's it doing in here?
Oh my, it's real. I thought it might be a replica.
That old thing. Bah, that's little more than a toy. Sorry? The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house. Really? Isn't it overkill? Be prepared, as I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy.
Do you think there might be trouble brewing, Mr. Garrett?
Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Dries them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well on the cannon there, Joan tells me. Which rather proves my point, I feel. It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame.
Willow, you're always defending your home with artillery. Well, obviously. Got to defend yourself against, I don't know, whatever artillery's good against. I'm not a good military person. I notice you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garrideb. Do you enjoy reading? Ever experienced a London winter, boy? The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than in front of the fire with a jolly good book. No less 30 to 50 feral Huns. Exactly. Oh, there's a copy of Rand's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garrideb enjoys the adventures of Sherlock Holmes too. No great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. Okay, he was a sergeant at least. That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? It's clearly been well looked after, though. That's old thing. Pah, not much better than rags, really. Wore that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know. But I'm not one for dwelling on the past. Me would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, it doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Oh, I see. Perhaps you should leave the past in the past. Okay, what we got up here then? That looks like a Medal of Honor, and it's showcased on a very grand banner. Yeah, it's displayed with some pride, I would say, although it bothers me that it's not straight. Yeah, that's what people say about me. What? That old thing. Sorry. I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn it in his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it. Keeps the bally thing out of my way. So it's just been polished to a shine by accident, I suppose. There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself, look. Let me see, it says, for distinguished participation. I can't believe we've got the oldest millennial. Sounds like the kind of honours even I could be in line for. I guess he must have defended a fellow soldier against a woman with a very sharp mango. Well, it wasn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles. That portrait of Mr. Garrideb is glaring at me, I swear. Have you noticed that all the little frames contain photographic prints of Mr. Garrideb as well? Yeah, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece as well. Oh yes, seems to come back from the local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seems to come back? What do you mean? The chap who runs the place is a bally wizard. Went in to sell him something and came out with that thing. In point of fact, now I think about it, I rather often find myself leaving the place with something I don't need. The lion ornament said he just seemed surplus to requirements. So that Susanne doesn't pull her punches, or her throws for that matter. Is that something? No. Okay, that looks good. Oh look! What a wonderful collection of cakes, lined up on that gleaming silver cake stand. Seen a bit, no less. Lined up? It looks more like someone has half demolished them to me. Afternoon tea is a time of indulgence, you know. It's quite the English way. It's Mr. Garrideb's custom to take 2 cakes with his tea. Exactly, Icky. Cake! That sounds delightful. Oh, wait a minute though. There are at least 10 cakes on this cake stand. Well, naturally, and it would never do to waste the leftovers. So whatever Mr. Garrideb doesn't eat, I say to myself, Joan, you shall have to tidy up. How magnanimous of you. Okay, this lady's got her priorities straight. This old candle holder looks a little out of place here, wouldn't you say? Yeah, you're right. It's clearly supposed to be gold, but it's almost completely black for some reason. Oh, that old thing. Yes, just a cheap piece of ironmongery. Give him crack, really. Used it when I was studying, don't you know? For my commission.
I know it's old, hardly worth hanging on to really, but, well, still has its uses sometimes.
Of course.
Does everything in this room have some elaborate story behind it?
The memories, Naruhodo. Memories.
I guess that's his ancient pickle collection. Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it?
Oh my, a genuine London dresser. Isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken, and the crockery is... oh dear, it's in pieces.
It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that chinaware justice.
I wonder. Perhaps the cannon was fired at it.
Yeah, probably something like that. But let's not delve too deeply here.
The window looks out over Briar Road, where the young woman was attacked.
Oh yeah, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene.
The glass is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly.
Does this thing open at all, I wonder?
I shouldn't underestimate the business of a London winter, sir.
Sorry?
As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the pot. No Londoner would go opening windows at dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you.
It seems very unlikely that these two would have seen anything of the incident then.
Okay, I think that's everything in the room. Let's head to Mr... Oh wait, I can examine the... Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely.
Yeah, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder?
I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek.
Maybe let's not, Miss Suzette. I think the maid's going to head us off with a cup of tea.
Okay, that's everything then. Mr. Natsume's room. Cat.
"19th of February, Mr. Natsume's room." Wah, just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that.
Nanny indeed, Icky. Nanny indeed. Yeah, I agree, Willow. This is how you live life. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in my life.
No, me neither.
It's so dark in here too. Oh yeah, we saw the windows were bricked up from the outside. Is that the window over there?
Well, it was the window, I think, yeah. Once upon a time. But for some reason it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives.
By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere. Have you? Notice is that Winnie the Pooh style honeypot in the corner. Oh, you mean that vase to the left? Could be.
No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Garrett had told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating.
Okay, we know what the most important thing here is. Yeah, big stretch. Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master's away.
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash.
Yeah, exactly, Willow. Big stretch. Oh, thanks for the bit, Icky. Oh heck, nearly forgot Merry Birthmas. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've mentioned it a couple of times already, but today's my birthday. I mean, I'm kind of past the age where that's particularly interesting, but hey, it's a new high score. It was a tricolour Mickey, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Well, clearly we do, because it was right here. But I guess the implication here is that he brought it with him. Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought a little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. Oh, hey, I think our cat's native to Japan. I keep forgetting. I mean, to be fair, they exist worldwide now, but I think they were like originally sort of desert-dwelling creatures. Specifically, I think the Romans introduced them to Britain, but I'm not sure about the rest of the world. Icky, you for one consider the day we gained a breed to be, in fact, a good. Willow, Persian. Persians are the hairless ones, aren't they? They certainly revered them in Egypt, no less. I'd guess around that sort of region. Like North Africa, Middle East. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. I mean, like, you're on the ship for like a month, weren't you? That desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mantis of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. What a impressing me with a good time. No less, Persians are short-haired. You don't know if hairless cats are Persians or not. Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. Yep, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh yeah, Mr. Natsume's name's on it. Look. And the date of purchase. 2 days ago, 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Icky, there's a bunch of hairless cats at your local cat cafe. They enjoy a good cuddle puddle. You have no idea what kind of cats they are, though. Oh, fair enough then. Oh, Sphinx cats, that was it. Thanks, Nelis. Yeah, they could be Egyptian, but you never know. They might have just, for all we know, they were named that because someone assumed they were Egyptian. The second-hand book receipt has been entered into the court record. A receipt discovered in Mr. Natsume's room for some books that he had purchased from a second-hand bookshop before the incident occurred. Okay, quiet. I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Ooh. Look at all these books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they smell so musty. With this volume of books at hand, you'd never be short at reading material, would you? No, what dreamy idea? A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. No less, Mr. Natsume, first name Dees. Dees Natsume. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect that conversation to turn down the path of a tea ceremony philosophy. Okay, what's this up here? Nothing, okay. Oh, there he is. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window one time after all, although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why'd anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I guess the landlord did it, because he's skinflint. I'm afraid I have no idea. Oh, perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on it in a fit of whimsy.
That's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive.
It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying.
Okay, what's this then? This appears to be some sort of meter on the wall here. It looks very robust. I wonder what it's for. There's a slot here for inserting coins here too.
Oh my god. Has he made the heating coin operated? I believe it's a gas meter, Mr. Naruhodo.
Gas meter.
Yep, it seems there's a pipes gas in this district, which consumers pay for by putting coins in the meter.
So, if we were to put a coin in the slot,
there would be enough gas to use the lights and the gas fire for a whole night.
If you're too poor to have a coin, you'd have to spend the night in the dark and freezing cold.
That's right. As would a rich man who only carried crisp white notes.
London is a scary place.
Oh yeah, banknotes were originally literally notes from your bank. Oh look, it's a beckoning cat from home. Oh yeah, in fact in the Victorian era, sort of, and for a large part of the 20th century, there was actually a paper £1 note, much in the same way there's a paper dollar. I think they still actually issue, Scottish banks still issue Scottish £1 notes.
It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him.
I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage?
Well, it can be dangerous travelling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm.
Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him.
It's not doing a very good job so far, is it?
You mustn't say such things.
I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway?
I like the implications you can just read what he's thinking. Okay, so that does kind of look like a Winnie the Pooh honey pot, but I'd imagine it's got something else in it. Wait, is that Sherlock Holmes' case? I used to be a ridiculous NPC who just appears casually reading a book in the background. Oh, look, Mr. Naruhodo.
Aha, there he is. Where'd he appear from?
He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh, you two. Good day. Now let me see. Where was it we met?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes. We were together on the SS Barrier.
Yes, of course, the barrier.
Well, your sleep paralysis demon.
And let me see. What happened on that voyage?
It was Kazuma Asagi. He died tragically, but you were a great help to us.
Ah, yes, but of course. The case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Well, you seem to remember. Something of it, at least.
What an honour to be remembered vaguely by the great Sherlock Holmes. Ah yes, who amongst us doesn't want to be remembered vaguely? This is Mr.
Oh, no, my dear madam. Hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic.
It's a bit cheaper than a Mind Palace, I suppose.
Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Susato.
Try the other way round, Mr. Sholmes.
I lost the first round.
I think this guy at least knows he's ridiculous.
In truth, I'd hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London, but some Scotland Yard has ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene.
Notice you guessed the Sherlock show didn't name the term then. No, I think Mind Palace existed before then.
It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes.
So they apprehended Suzeki-san in that short amount of time?
I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little.
Little?
It is a mistake to think that one's brain has elastic walls and could distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones.
Oh yeah, that aspect did come from the original books.
Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom. You know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet.
Please, there's no need to quote yourself.
I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately, my associate pens them beautifully.
He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss a murky case.
Okay, let's have a chit-chat. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Suzeki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road.
Natsume. Yes, I believe is a name rather along those lines.
But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justified to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Mr. Zato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What?
I can't believe he was looking Zato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I'm not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension.
Oh, how?
I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stupid compatriot of the crime.
But that doesn't make sense.
The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me. I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene.
Oh, a man seen fleeing.
There were a number of books scattered on pavements at the scene. From the book plate, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question.
So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then?
That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophilia. Do not be deceived into believing that I'm a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear. Mr. Garadeb, the landlord.
Tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings?
Yeah, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services.
And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service.
Willow, Sholmes caught lacking. I didn't think it was that funny.
I do apologise. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yep, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein.
Betoken their social standing, sorry.
Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm very lost on what he means to say. The dingy room. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in its place, such as this, will stab somebody sooner or later.
Mr. Natsume stabbed no one.
But sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is it there's no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks.
Notice, ascertain has an emphasis on the tain, just so I know. Okay.
I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tags.
Oh yeah, I forgot about window tags. It was basically the bedroom tags of its day.
Window tags? What is that?
Surely, not a tax on windows?
Precisely that.
Oh my goodness.
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up, while the rich opened up windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favour with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money.
Yep, that was absolutely. This is an absolutely completely true thing, Nameless. You know, after a few poll tax riots, the government tries to try anything else. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example.
Yep. That's the thing about laws, I suppose. If they've been around for a while, they'll be around for a while longer after they're revoked.
I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps.
Like, Section 28 was abolished, sort of early 2000s, not long after I started secondary school. But, you know, the damage was done, and literally no teacher would bring up LGBTQ stuff while I was in school. Like, even when I was in college. I think at least one of my tutors actually sort of clocked me for an egg, but didn't say anything.
It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings are offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Apparently Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Still, that's of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Oh yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that, did you?
No less, the US learned your worst habits from Britain, and yet some things were too far for you guess? I don't know. Well, I don't think it really got a leg to stand on. Like, when I was a kid, I always assumed slavery was an American thing, but it turned out some of the upper classes indulged it, even if there were some legal precedents that made it harder.
Will you be perhaps offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, congratulations on... I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realised, and so promptly too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes?
Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he?
My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea.
No, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate?
Oh yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them.
Oh, I see.
Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally.
Notice you made quite a lot of noise about having abolished it over there, but you don't know what to assume about whether you were ahead of other countries or behind them. Behind them. Very far behind them. Like, even Britain formally entered the slave trade long before you abolished it. And like, well, even the other European powers reluctantly. Actually, I'm not sure. France might have persisted with it. I mean, I think they sort of... I know there's that whole business in Haiti. Although Haiti sort of freed itself. Yeah, I think that's something you need to have to look up yourself, because I don't know. But yeah, the USA definitely wasn't the first. Definitely wasn't the most active. Although credit to American abolitionists.
The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room. And there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That's all I can say. Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us.
I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I'm quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something.
Pres Ricard, looks like France abolished slavery around 1848, so they also beat the USA. Yeah, that about tracks. Like, I'm like 79% sure that most of Europe had abolished it long before the US. Like, Britain definitely stopped taking part in the trade and outlawed it. But by that point, so many people had basically been kidnapped away, and their descendants lived in America. It was sort of self-sustaining until they were freed.
That the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something.
Mr. Garadeb is. Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he?
Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruhodo. As yet, our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence.
No, you're right.
Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garadeb's secret.
Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yeah, a busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. He's living the dream. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes.
Yes, so true, to be or not to be. That is indeed the question, Mr. Naruhodo.
To be or not to be brushed off, that is the question, and the answer is all too clear. Let's leave Mr. Sholmes in peace, shall we? Okay, is there anything else to do? Nope. I guess we're going to go back. Okay, I like that you can go from everywhere to everywhere now. That always kind of annoyed me in Ace Attorney.
9th of February, Mr. Garrideb's room.
Willow, Sato's expressions are great. I know, right? To be fair, the animation in general is really sort of steps up from the original game. Although that kind of makes sense, considering this is like 20 decades of tech.
Oh, you pair again. Tell me, what's the detective chap? I forget his name. Still hard at work down there?
Nanny indeed, Icky. Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
Oh yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid.
Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there.
Truly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me what... Ugh. For the upteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're ballywall doing?
Sorry, 20 years of tech, not 20 decades, no less. I should be serving dinner shortly, sir.
Oh yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to take your leave if you'd be so kind.
Well, I wish you had a never-ending teapot like that. You know, what I kind of want is a poisonous teapot. Those things are cool. I mean, not for actually poisoning anyone, but you could, like, have a reservoir of tea and a reservoir of milk, and you could you could decide if you were giving people milk and tea or not in one pour. Oh yes, of course. We're deeply grateful for all your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out.
Well, oh, yep, you've seen them, devilish. Yeah, for those who don't know, an assassin's teapot is basically a teapot with 2 chambers with holes, and basically by covering some holes but not others, you can control which sort of chamber the liquid comes out of. So you can basically fill one chamber with poison tea and the other with normal tea. So you can pour yourself a safe cup of tea and then pour your enemy a poisoned one. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb is hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Yep, in fact, Google them right now. There's like YouTube videos showing how they work and everything. Okay, let's see what else we got then. Okay, the assassin's teapot also has a secret second method. You bonk them with it. I mean, yeah, but that works with every teapot. That'll be a great video game achievement, though. Like, you get an assassin's teapot and just kill someone by beating them with it, instead of using it as intended. But... okay. What's he doing over there? Willow, every teapot is an assassin's teapot to the open-minded. Exactly. Mr. Sholmes?
Oh ha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, sir, at your service. Whatever you were doing over by my window. Sorry.
Whatever were you doing by the window?
I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madame. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such an observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Oh, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about, is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean Mr. Sholmes? There is a mighty secret in this modest room. You know what they say? Great minds think. And the more they think, the merrier. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. Trifle. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo. I think so. Yes, exactly, Icky. The think, the merrier. There is just time for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let's conclude the matter before dark. Mr. Garrett, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first rate. Nellis, Trifles is a good short story. You forget by who? Read it for a class. I'm not familiar. I'm afraid, sir, this is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon? The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look. The odd man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievable. It seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on. How could you possibly... Willow, Susan Glassbell? How could I possibly know? You mean to inquire? Notice you actually think it's a play. Okay. The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. It's a short Miss Marple-esque murder mystery. Well, a one-act play. Oh, fair enough then. What's it about? So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Shams is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Okay, topic 1. Nature of the beast. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Moida. Notice you think there was a sequel called Jury of Her Peers. Thus, we're faced with the question, what form might this beast take? For a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garadeb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear to be unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle I ask of you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What? Yes, living with such a wild beast proved to be more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of the wild rampage still very much in evidence.
Well,
Yet, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam?
the maid was a lion all along. Me?
I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction.
It is?
Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts.
Notice Mr. Tonight bought himself a second-hand lion. I think I remember seeing the trailers for it, but I never watched it myself.
A second hand.
History.
4. Protruding from its handbill advertising a circus show. Sorry, protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garadeb. At Batty's Circus, a travelling show currently sojourning in a nearby park.
I have observed the tents. Oh wait, is this the ancestor of the circus that appears in like the third game?
You sold the lion, the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I've made my point.
Very solid family movie. Fair enough then.
The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion.
Lions not native to India, Sholmes.
And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire.
Topic 2, the aftermath.
Now, Mr. Garadeb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man, I simply... But what, we must now ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack.
Unimaginable?
The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh dearie me.
What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madame, I'm afraid it is you who it has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eyes set upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at this tower of cakes.
My god, I would love a tower of cakes.
There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they had no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact.
Whatever do you mean?
Having tired of the cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There is only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. I will not make the joke about carpet. I will not make the joke about carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are in a perfect match with those of a lion I saw once in India. Notice Asiatic lion might be native to India as well as other places. Okay, that's me corrected then. I could have sworn it was tigers in India and lions in Africa. Notice a lion, or perhaps a cougar. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. I guess TSMR came early. What's the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. I'm sorry, Mr. Garrideb. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times too. Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it, again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth of all often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies in the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in his very room, surely Mr. Garrideb and the maid would have been hurt, or worse. Oh, yeah, that's where you're stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large Sorry. Just imagining fighting a lion in a tiny room with a cannon. Willow, and the maid fenced off with a frying pan. It all fits. Notice Secondhand Lions is such a good movie. I thought you said that they sold the lions to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Obviously, you bring a tiger to tea. Classic children's book, of course. Don't know if that's something that's popular in America as well. Oh, my dear Mrs. Arto, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. What a glorious notion. See you in a bit, Willow. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage, that's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Notice two old guys by a lion intending to shoot and taxidermy it. It does not go to plan, now they just have a pet lion. The movie just isn't just about the lion either. Oh yeah, all I know from it is there's that guy, one of the old men gives a really sort of massive
long speech to a teenager. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning. Of Sherlock Holmes is logic and reasoning spectacular. Okay, it's a coming-of-age movie. Fair enough then. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see. Wait, I don't need to read this out again. Okay. Correction. Wait, what button do I press for correction? There we go. I just cycle for it normally. I really didn't see the lion thing coming. Ah, yep. Everyone's favourite children's movie, The Lion Thing, by John Carpenter. No, but if you observe Mr. Garrideb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast had indeed run amok here in this room. Yeah, something of a very fierce nature. There couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garrideb's gaze. That'll lead us to the true answer. Okay, what have we got then? Well, this is the lion statue that Mr. Sholmes picked out. Yes, I wonder. Perhaps if you did live with a lion, it would prove to be rather a sweet companion. I think that's like a mouse trying to tell its family that the cat around the house is sweet. I suppose it is a bit of a flight of fancy, isn't it? Anyway, the beast we're looking for is something else. Let's have a good look around. Okay. These are shells for the cannon, are they? What a strange place to keep them. I imagine they'd have some significance to Mr. Garrett. Wait, I imagine they have some significance to Mr. Garrideb from his time in the army. Oh, of course, he mentioned a battle to us before, didn't he? Do you remember? He said that he'd been shot in the knee. Perhaps it was one of these that hit him. If around that size it hit his knee, there'd be nothing left of it. Or Mr. Garrideb, for that matter. Mr. Sholmes has a Persian slipper. And this man has spent shells. Perhaps it's customary in Britain to display, well, rubbish on the mantelpiece. Notice? It worked for Haley Joel Osmond. Photograph frame. Look at this photograph. What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Garrideb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. No, how fortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there. The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. But no amount of cracks could hide that woman's plump form. I think powerful will be kinder than plump at Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower in there. Not someone you want to upset, that's for sure. Oh look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yeah, that's an unusual design. It looks sort of like an embellished sunflower. Wait a minute. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation can possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrideb.
And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and know the considerable horsepower they must contain. Oh, Indeed. Surely anyone with such powerful constitution would be honoured to be described as a beast. Honoured might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged this room, was your wife, Mr. Garrideb. Ugh. Oh, he's got a slap on the other side of his face. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yet, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame. Me? I pray you don't consider me unchivalrous. It is plain to me with a glance in your direction. Okay, already, The poor fragile defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is right. There's no sign of a Mrs. Garrideb anywhere. But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrideb's wife could be. Yeah, as I suspected. She's wearing a very large ring. Look. Oh yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. Oh, I guess it. His wife's pretending to be a maid, so he looks more upper class. Okay, look, that just does actually feel like something someone would do here. Some people just get very weird about that. Famous children's writers, for example. Who simultaneously wish to present as working class heroes, but also don't want people to think they're poor. Yeah, it's kind of effed, no less. Exactly, well, a perfect time to sip tea for no particular reason. Oh yeah, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. And it's on the ring finger of her left hand, which means it's surely a wedding ring. It looks like it's on there for life too. I can't imagine it would ever slide off a finger that size. That's something to think, Mr. Naruhodo, not to say. Exactly. Do you know, Mr. Garrideb's wife in that photograph had a ring very much like this one? It was a large sunflower design as well. Really? You have a great memory for these things. A large sunflower wedding ring. It's quite a coincidence they have the same ring, isn't it?
Take that!
Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown in the hand of Mr. Garrideb's bride, in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. Oh, we're being raided by Cecily. It's been a while, how are you doing? Can we get a shout out, Nillis? Oh, you're playing Cyberpunk. Yeah, I've heard they've mostly patched it to a playable state now. First playthrough. You're doing good, how am I? Pretty good. Don't know if you're aware, but today's my birthday. I am cough cough. Also, hi everyone, I'm BisectedBrioche. Nice to meet you. If you don't know me, I'm a trans woman streamer. I do playthroughs of single player games and occasionally a cosplay. Right now this is sort of a tiefling AC.
which is sort of a test bed for basically a Karlak cosplay I'm working on. Very proud of the teeth. I made them myself. And thank you. Yeah, I like to think I'm a cute tiefling. But then again, is there such thing as an uncute tiefling? I think not. But yeah, I hope Cyberpunk's going well. Right now I'm playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're on case 4. And here Sherlock Sholmes is proving that this retired military man's maid is actually his wife, which will prove somehow that our client didn't stab anyone. Nillis, you don't know how you forgot my birthday's in March when yours is in a week. Yeah. I used to have a colleague who had a birthday in the same week, so we'd have to fight to get the time off. It wasn't really a contest though, because I always booked as soon as I could. You are Mr. Garrideb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garrideb herself. Sorry, Garrideb herself. Am I? Word. Notice capitalism running things as usual? Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the reason I've got like 2 weeks off is because it's so hard to book time off, and it rolls over on April. But the store manager gets told off if everyone's not using their time off. So he basically begged me to take like 4 weeks off. Cicely, you have to get to lunch, so you'll be lurking. Have fun with Ace Attorney. Thank you. Well, thank you for the raid, and I'll try and take good care of your people if they want to stick around, and have a good lunch. Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly summarised, this is the wife, yes. My Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say. But she was a bally quarterback. And that explains why she's constantly burning him with tea. It would appear you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you're a retired army man, yet you're in the business of renting out rooms. Oh wow, a member of the institution becoming a member of the institution. Who'd have thought it? I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man had his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society, it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are folly. You mean Mr. Garrideb has his wife work as his maid? A typical straight man, am I right? Precisely, am I right, Mr. Garrideb? Only in company, obviously, but listen here, this must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please. Okay, but what got her so angry? See you in a bit, Nellis. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrideb's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. Word. But Mrs. Garrideb is standing beside her husband as we speak.
In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he?
Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm seems to be propping up his head. Has some other significance then?
According to Mr. Sholmes.
Mr. Garrideb's pain is tangible though. What could that post of his really significant by? Okay, there was clearly a slap on his face. Yep, there it is.
Oh my, look at that bright red mark.
Gosh, that's quite something. And clearly made by somebody's hand.
Yes, Mr. Garrideb has been slapped on the face, it seems. Hard.
I've never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing?
Well, there's a very limited number of candidates, I'd say.
Take that!
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. What you, Madame Joan Garrideb?
Well, yes.
You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ugh. How in the blazes did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. And that's why you hadn't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Well, Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subject to such a violent slap?
Okay, already gone through this. Okay, is it the bills though? Didn't Mr. Sholmes say the bills are all for the lion fodder?
Yeah, but now we've established that the lion never existed. Which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrideb's wife.
Mr. Naruhodo? She's a person, not a thing.
Yeah, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap round the face. One so hard it left a perfect hand mark, in fact.
Yes, why do women want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder?
I'd love to know the answer to that question.
Looking at all these bills, it certainly amounts to a great deal of food.
Meat and potatoes by the cartload, wasn't it? Well, looking at the two of them, you can immediately tell who eats the lion's share in this household.
Well, at least we're no longer talking about an actual lion anymore. Hello, what's all this then? Someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Garrideb is clearly an avid reader.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no.
Oh no, it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary.
And look next, the signature here.
Lip marks, made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate, romantic gesture.
Don't get any ideas, Suzato-san.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
So this bookmark is actually a love note then,
Okay, she found a love note and slapped him.
Take that!
Yeah, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here. Ugh.
Well, that's why she keeps burning with fatigue.
But I don't know the bally woman. You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right. That's what I've been saying. Ah.
Unlikely story.
Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place, and that note must have already been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right. That's what I've been saying.
Unlikely story.
For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you'd forgotten, is John. Ugh.
Unlikely story.
Are you questioning my name now? And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite. Ang ang. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack.
Unimaginable? But surely Mr. Garrett didn't eat the carpet. Sorry, this... Yeah, for those who weren't here, previous jokes about eating carpet were made. Icky, they carried out an unimaginable attack that just imagined... I just imagined. Wait, my brain went cross-eyed again. Oh my god, I need some pastry so much right now. I do actually have one of those things of instant pancake mix. Maybe I'll make some pancakes before I go to bed. No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray in this room is a result of her wild temper. Nope, that's true. Icky, I require an entire afternoon tea in IV form, please and thank. Nullis, maybe this Mary gets around. So this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction we need to fix. We don't need to follow Mr. Garradeb's gaze. Sorry. Mrs. Garradeb's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer.
Right, let's see what we can see.
Yes. Is it the candlestick? This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it?
The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. It looks to me like even the slightest knock would make it topple over.
Oh dear, that would be a bit dangerous.
Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing.
Yes, didn't notice that before.
Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the three missing from its holder?
Oh, it's over here.
The carpet here has been ripped to shreds.
Yes, according to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, the tears match the one made by an Indian lion's teeth exactly.
Oh, look here.
What is it?
If you look closely at the edge, you can see scorch marks.
My God, Willow. Someone has been munching on the rug and a candle is missing. I have no idea what that could mean. For you see, I'm a tiefling of refinement and innocence. Please ignore all the murders. Oh yes, so you can. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in the normal sense at all.
Let's rethink this with that in mind.
Okay, so it was the candle that did it. Oh no. The court. Okay, this is a good line. Oh, thank you for the follow, Thunder Dragon 12. The cause of the carpet being in such a terrible state here is the carpet itself. Now I realise this appears to be something of a circular argument, however, it's the tack I've decided to try and I'm not changing course now. That deduction was wanting in every way. Yes, I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. I find myself wanting to never have heard it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. No, to be fair, it's entirely reasonable the writers had no idea of this, it's just... yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll try again. Anyway, yeah, it's the candlestick.
Take that!
Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow. And of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? Wait, scorch marks? I've forgotten how to do his voice. It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Garrison's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only in her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her stride caused the candles to fall from their holder. And in seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room was in flames. Wait, I don't think wool burns that easily, does it? Yes, the most ferocious beast in the world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was a scene of a fire. Mr. Sholmes, sir, I salute you. And I guess that killed him. Now let's remind of Call of Cthulhu, actual play you watched recently. This is a western. One of the PCs had a horse named Lady Bit. The player kept a straight face with the bit for so long too. Yeah, that reminds me, I need to watch We Are Lady Bits. It's a sitcom about a group of Muslim women who form a punk band. It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be a bit closer to the mark. And Beastis, but certainly abstract. Yeah, he deserved that. Here we go again. And the carpet, was that destroyed by a fire when the candle fell on the floor? Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke.
Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old Styx rage and the raging flames. You paint a thorrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. Bally furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being.
Over here, Mr. Garrideb.
Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'd allow me.
Oh, that poor bookshelf.
Had all my favourite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There was I back up against the window under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favourite, but called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride. Oh yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast rampage.
Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct once again.
It can only be described as great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere and the old stick in full vessel. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see, around 5 o'clock, I think.
So, exactly at the same time, as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole of Blight could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing.
Oh, really?
Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruto, what can I do for you?
Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garrideb's situation now. But what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances?
I can't help you there, I'm afraid.
What?
My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man was to be hiding something, I could not be sure what his secret would prove to be of relevance or not.
Oops, sorry, you're right, Nolus. Naruhodo, not Naruto. I just knew you were going to say that.
Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into only one of two categories. Those relevant to the case and those not.
That makes no sense to me.
Well, no matter. It's of far greater importance that you make up your mind now.
Sorry.
Visiting hours at the prison will be soon over.
Oh no, is it that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to.
So that's it. No more time to think.
Perhaps you'd like to betake yourself to bidding us farewell now? I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrideb.
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry.
Thank you both very much for your time.
Soseki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer.
Okay, to the holding cells then. But first...
9th of February, Brow Road.
It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison.
Yes, I know. Let's hail that cat.
Okay, I guess I don't get a choice in the matter.
Oh.
What's the matter?
It looks like something's going on in there in front of the Garrideb's house.
this guy a noble or a jester?
I know thee not, old man. False thy prayers. Who are you all calling an old man, you rum-looking nimmy-pimmy?
No, it's a jester guy from the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who is this Horatio fellow, eh? What are you on about?
Excuse me.
What the? Who are you now?
I'm sorry, it looks as though there might be some problem here. He does look kind of like Popeye, I'll give you that. Maybe palette swapped. And my associate here, Mr. Reynos K. Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see.
Hey, a lawyer? What?
If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I've studied English law.
Fine, I'll be on my way for today. But you mark my words. This ain't over yet.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you?
This man has a very punchable face. I do hope you're not injured. A fair eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you.
What's all that about?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than there are dreamt of in your philosophy.
I'm not Horatio either.
Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here? In the BisectedBrioche residence? Oh, fair eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode.
Mr. BisectedBrioche mentioned he had an lodger, didn't he?
This must be the man.
Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor?
Oh yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a poll missed in my battle of words than there could be.
Sorry, battle did you say?
Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night.
I see.
I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. I'm trying to give this man a whimsical voice to be really irritating. Might be irritating myself. No less. These two rat battling must be something to hear. Exactly. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room.
I think he's unaware what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us.
With Saseki-san and that man as lodgers, the BisectedBrioche house is certainly full of eccentrics. You know, I'm kind of hoping he's the murderer just so I can hear him be like, is this a dagger I see before me? Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yep, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return.
Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over.
Okay, what are we at? 2 hours?
19th of February, 6:31 PM, local prison, cell 9.
No, he'll probably say that anyway. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, it's you, you're here you came. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched. We're so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh no, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I'd purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing.
Nipponese. Oh, now, let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There is nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand... Oh, okay. On the other hand, it is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. I expected to be the scary prosecutor guy. Such is my belief, at least. Yes, it's you. The miserable rotten spy. Sherlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se, save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloom-filled room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop by on my way home, see how our divested friend is faring. Gloom-filled room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight, and cost me not a penny. You, how dare you? Sherlock Sholmes. I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings, no doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Moustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings, and indeed, for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Cursed trial? Mr. Natsume, what do you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no, why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor? The Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please, tell me. Summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly. Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. 16 words, no less. That's one shy of a haiku, I guess. I think because it's 5... No, wait, that's 19 words, isn't it? No, wait, no, that's syllables. I'm an idiot. Mr. McGill did. What? Where? Oh, I'm impressed, Mrs. Alto. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Yeah, no, that's 17 syllables, my bad. Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that, having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zeeks killed the man himself. I know, he couldn't have, surely. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer, he's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Well, of course he is. Of course he is. Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? Come on, seasons don't fear the reaper. And neither do the wind, the sun, or the rain. We can be like they are. Vanzies is quite an exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Oh, that's good. Suzaki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you're no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, while the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system, whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury. Which means, even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly, it is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. And that's alright. However, those indicted by Lord Vanzies cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the education may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? By all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they're trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Notice, indicted. Isn't that what I said? Perhaps they're suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps by a highwayman. Oh no, no, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. Londoners still have to worry about highwaymen. Move my neck a bit so I get some stretching in. Yep, this silence feels like a good time for. Maybe I should spill some tea on myself for the bit. I pronounced it with dick in it. Oh, indicted. Yeah, I do that sometimes. I hope you're all enjoying this insight into how I read words I don't say out loud very often. I knew it. I'm a dead dodo, done for, doomed. Yeah, indicted does have a sort of French ring to it. Okay, cursed lodgings. When you said accursed lodgings before, you're referring to your room at Mr. Garadeb's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Unless you think you've only heard it said in a Jim Carrey movie. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. Yeah, we all suffer from acrophobia. So I shut myself away in my room, But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times. Most recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yeah, why do you choose there? Seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him. If you have something to say, then say it, but if not, don't mention it in the first place. Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true.
Nolis, you think that invisible cow's out of milk by now, Mr. Natsume? Could be.
You mean the room's really cursed? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole. My sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I wake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe me? Really no one at all. To believe. Yes, to believe.
Well, ACAB includes Mulder, but... Sorry, ACAB includes Mulder and Scully, but nevertheless, I want to believe.
Mr. Sholmes? Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you?
It's about the case on the SS Barrier, if you recall.
The barrier. The barrier. Ah, yes, that case. The one with the snake.
Well, yes.
At the time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story.
And you helped us to investigate.
I did I? Interesting.
What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe me?
I see, yes. You mean... Because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow, found with the victim in a locked room.
Thank you for the quote, Nellis. I'm sure that one won't come back to haunt me.
Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised. The answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it.
But I could have been lying.
Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me.
What?
You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in.
Oh yeah, that's usually how it works. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not.
Okay, I think everyone does that. That's...
If I should like to believe in something, I do. Circumstances can hang for all I'm concerned.
But I could have betrayed your trust.
In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse in my opinion.
Meaning?
Whether or not one should trust another is in the final analysis down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself.
Yes, he's right. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Whether or not I can believe myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself.
You're so right, Kazuma. my dear fellows. It is time we were leaving, I believe.
Already?
Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me?
Oh dear, there's never enough time, is there?
Mr. Natsume, if you'd like me in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you.
Oh, okay, the game hasn't already ended. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire.
As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday, and although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial.
Something crucial?
What to believe in? The defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe even? But I think I finally worked it out. I decide I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts.
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo.
And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court.
Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire.
I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow.
As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue.
Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Mrs. Ase.
Yes?
Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in the court?
Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant.
The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind, but it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Suzuki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster.
Okay, what are we at? T15. Yep, I can keep going.
February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon?
We're on a study tour of Great Britain, with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and that could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass.
When you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning.
Oh wow, his eyes are red. Oh, Mr. Natsume, good morning.
Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The only bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain.
Yeah, I've heard that expression.
But I really don't want to catch a worm. I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. And now, I'm absolutely exhausted as a result.
Dual literary people take things so literally.
Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume.
I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yeah. I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. Do you know what that might be, Mrs. Asso?
I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea.
So that all-knowing look in your face is just a coincidence then, is it?
Don't hide the truth from me. It's because of the Reaper, isn't it?
Lord Van Ziegs. Is that right, Mr. Asso?
I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Ziegs is on the front pages of every one.
I knew it.
Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday.
Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Ziegs' return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. Ugh, what a harrowing experience that was.
I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's.
But we wouldn't have realised, of course, having only just arrived in the country.
Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon? And for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking. And they're all speculating various answers.
Mundane? Mundane is the most insightful saga of the century to some of us.
Oh dear, I meant no offence, Mr. Natsume. But that's how the papers are describing it.
Well, lest we all forget the fact it could also spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity of the trial of 2 days ago.
Yes, I agree.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, it's you. Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor.
It can only mean
that you're friends for the Reaper. Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers.
I'm afraid there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck.
Thanks for that. This is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By least lucky lawyer alive.
Well, let's not forget, that last one didn't narrate. That's cheating.
That it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student new to London with little in the way of experience or skills or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight for your corner until the bitter end, and I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, benevolent locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we'll always be on your side.
Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant, Miss Mikotoba Esquiress. I'm in your debt forever. I shall never forget this great kindness for as long as I live.
Mr. Natsume, counsel for defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way to the courtroom at once.
Yes, thank you, Nihilus. I'm glad I caught it. Alright then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go.
Yes.
This is it. The apocalypse. My second appearance in a British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because this time, I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. Here we go.
20th February, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
Wait. It's the maid/wife and the jury.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord.
The defense is ready, my lord.
Lipsy's nuts. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed.
Sorry, what?
Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, maybe she's here as a witness.
A mere amateur.
Do you have a point?
Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try and help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance.
Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. So that's it, Sam. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent.
Very true, and a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted, and to his unfortunate violent end. Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone.
Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear. Ah well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. I'm afraid to say, I think it's quite possible that that moustache foreigner did the deed.
Oh, come on, what we're waiting for? No doubt he did it already.
Hey, sorry, didn't quite catch that. Yeah, literally one of the witnesses is on the jury, that can't be right.
Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zeeks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from the same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime, I tell you from bitter experience, those are the bloody worst. Bloody oath they are.
Okay, Triumph. Just look at that sallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese.
Oh, come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, sorry, didn't quite catch that. Yeah, like, it's possible they weren't calling her as a witness, but, like, she can't be unbiased. Like, literally, she's the landlord of the accused. That's the exact opposite of unbiased.
Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber.
I love how edgy this guy is.
Allow me to call my first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please.
And I'm hungry again.
Your name and occupation, please.
Notice that guy's one of the witnesses from the last case. You weren't paying attention. I'm not sure.
Yes, sir.
Yep, the chip waver's back. And he's chippier than ever.
Tobias Grayson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard.
Would you please summarise the events of the case for the court, Inspector?
The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green.
I beg your pardon, Inspector? Thought to be?
Yes, having been stabbed in the back by an attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. Notice, he suddenly wants a fanfic or similar where Van Zieks gets progressively more plastered as the case goes on. Yeah, like... even if he's only sipping that wine, he's drinking on the job. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since.
What?
So they don't even know who she is for sure.
Comatose, I see. But life's not in danger.
Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector.
So, if I could just ask everyone to look at this street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. Happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. No less, almost a shame this is 3D, so I can't just easily make it an objection.lol. It had not long since stopped stirring as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far.
Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please.
The case file has been entered into the court record. A file contains an overview of the case and details about the victim. She was found with a knife in her back and is currently in hospital, yet to regain consciousness. Oh yeah, the W stash Caney guy from the last case is Geo number 1. Oh yeah, you're right.
What of the weapon that was used?
Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch. That big thing has started to make me scared to walk down the street now. With a heavy blade like that, almost anyone would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even the scraggly looking Sussex guy sound, I suppose.
A common or garden jackknife, I would say, rather than nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence.
The jackknife has been entered into the court record. A large but commonplace folding knife. It was found lodged in the victim's back.
Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume?
From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's the poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord.
I see. Well, in that case, we're looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim.
I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes!
If theft and grievance have been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume have possibly had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way.
Objection!
pray, forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. But your words have soured its hallowed bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. Right. That should be beyond question. Oh yeah, you can't really question the Met, can you? They're always fair and thorough. And none of them are guilty of horrendous crimes themselves. None at all. And especially if they were to commit horrendous crimes, a protest would be treated completely fairly. Sorry, I got on my soapbox for a second there. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. Maybe I'll just keep making his voice deeper and deeper. Yes, sir? Mr. Natsume's arrest. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred. There was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused. No less. Whoever catches the bottle is the next person to get prosecuted. Exactly. As the view, out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. There's been a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him.
Old book, you say?
Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident.
Oh yes, I can clearly see the books to which you're referring. I'll take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector.
The crime scene photograph has been entered into the court record. A photograph of the scene taken by a policeman just after the incident occurred. A large knife can be seen thrust into the victim's back.
You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat, denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Well, forgive me, Lord Van Seegers, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it.
What are you doing, Mrs. Asso? Do you go on?
Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? No less. Alternatively, they just passed around, so those particular seats are oddly popular. I mean, to be fair, I think we heard a smashing glass sound effect, so I think he just threw the glass into the public gallery. And it probably hit someone or something.
Well, when you mention it, when we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what had all happened.
Exactly, no less. Too cowardly to admit defeat is a terrible insult.
As I was walking along that cursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed into the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran, as fast as my legs would carry me back to my cursed lodgings.
A green overcoat.
Oh, that's exactly what the woman in the print is wearing.
Oh my, a photographic print in full colour. What will the world come up with next?
The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean he is guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back.
No less, they filmed it this time, unfortunately, but that's the gamble, you guess.
Yeah, I guess.
There was no one else there at the time, just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there was nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes.
It seems that this cross-examination could prove pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please.
Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Okay, let's examine this cross.
Hold it!
Light fog, you say?
Well, a light fog for London. You could say it's the opposite side of the street for once. Not much farther though.
That's light, is it?
Around these parts, yeah. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fella like yourself to know, of course.
I've read that London is famous for its fog, but in my country people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance.
Huh, how quaint.
Yeah, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate. I see. At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm.
Indeed, the other day I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling.
So that is Sam and I should definitely remember to stop, look and listen.
However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused.
Hold it!
How are you able to state that with any certainty?
Quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us.
But wait, if there are witnesses... Doesn't that mean the accused isn't the only person who was there? That's right, one of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. Hey, that's correct, man. Then we must hear their testimony.
The prosecution will of course call them to the stand, should it be necessary.
But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen.
I am unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas street lights.
Yeah, my assumption is the cop did it as well, no less, but that's just a good assumption. Especially where the Met's concerned.
The prosecution believes that there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime.
Wait, here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness.
Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. Ah, but the darkness believes in a thing called love. If I could just go through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to.
It seems the counsel for the defence is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector.
Hold it!
From behind, you're saying? Yeah, that's right. As you can see from this print.
Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in critical condition, comatose no less.
Seen a bit, no less. Exactly, Willow. Just listen to the rhythm of my heart.
I'm afraid so, my lord, yes. She's been treated at Bart's. I was hoping that she'd come round before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be.
Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events.
Luck is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by the disturbing wide eyes, I'm afraid.
Hold it!
Mr. Natsume's belongings, I think you'll find it's all there in the photograph. Big print of the crime scene.
Yes, the 3 books on the floor.
That's right, my lord. Second-hand books, they were irreparably damaged after the falling in the snow, of course.
The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example.
3 books in one hand? That seems like a stretch. He's very clever, isn't he?
What do you mean?
He made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full of his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there.
You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings? He thrust the knife into the woman's back? That must have been what happened, my lord, yes.
Wait, that must have been what happened, my lord, yeah?
Hold it!
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yeah, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature.
I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of a scholarly attention.
The blokes from the stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings is this place here, Bourbon Books. Of course, it's a bit risky to do business with them. A little place on the corner of Briar Road and Mitcham Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end, which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Something like this. The local map's information has been updated in the court record.
Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop.
Mr. Narihode, I think what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance.
Yeah, I agree.
The most important point that the inspector just made being... Okay, this is going to be important. The location, the name, or the stock. Okay, well, we know the bookshop's got books in it. Okay, I'm going to say location. The crucial detail on what you just told the court, Inspector, is the location of the bookshop. I couldn't agree more. So, where is it exactly? Hey, you winding me up, Sunshine? I just explained that. I got the map house and everything. Used bloomin' red ink, and I drew the bloke's route home for you.
And I distinctly remember seeing you nod along, Counsel.
Oh, yeah, of course. I must have been so nervous I didn't take it in.
The blunder of the day goes to you, my learned friend.
No, not yet. The trial's only just begun after all. Mr. Narihode, I would strongly advise you to look carefully through the court record at this stage. Yes, miss, it won't miss. Sorry, I made a mistake, miss.
Inspector, continue with your testimony, please.
Okay, I need to look through the court record. Oh. Okay. Let's just load to save a bit of time. Because we know it's a different bookshop. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favour? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe? Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes. It could be a very important clue. Right then. Very well. Not that I can see it being of any great significance. But please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic? Oh no, he was... Whoop, wrong button. So the shop is called Bourbon Books, is it? That's right. Closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings. And to get from there back to his room, he would have to have gone right past this very spot where the incident took place. If I could just confirm one point, can we be sure that the defendant really did visit Bourbon Books on the day in question? Well, I haven't actually confirmed it, no. You haven't confirmed it? Why the devil not, Inspector? Well, the thing is, the shopkeeper's gone on a trip, you see. Left the morning after the incident to collect more stock, I'm told. So we haven't been able to ask the bloke if the accused visited his shop on the day in question or not. Well, in that case, what did the defendant himself have to say about it? No recollection. What? According to the statement he made at the time, the accused has no recollection of where he'd been. Of course he doesn't. But clearly has his head in the clouds whenever he's walking about town. He claims he just wanders into whatever bookshop he happens to be passing and rarely notices his name. I should say the man ought to learn to look where he's going at the very least. So, it's just as I thought then. Is something the matter? Inspector, you may continue with your testimony. Okay, let's go back and present that evidence then.
Objection!
If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson. Where's it, sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. And this is a receipt we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books. And you found that in the accuser's room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books. Your Books? Your, I presume? Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. Oh, what? Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Eurobooks is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place. I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection!
But in fact, that is the bookshop where the defendant which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves
Objection!
it. Yes, what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Objection!
I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the street map here, if that might be of help. Notice, your books. Get your books here. Oh, yeah, thank you. Have a look at this, please.
If the defendants had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact he was actually at another bookshop, Yuri Books, it may very well turn out he wouldn't have passed this location at all.
Could that be true?
My, it rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said?
Absolutely. It absolutely could be right.
Inspector Gregson, where is your books?
Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out the Eurobooks is just here on the next corner of Mitcham Street, going east.
The local maps information has been updated.
And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh. My learned Nepalese friend is obviously in training to be a clown, the way he regales us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus.
You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you.
Well, I didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from Eurobooks instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he would just have passed here, past the place where the victim was stabbed.
Yes, thank you, Inspector.
Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow Nipponese friend. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
I suspected you can't fool me. I don't suggest you try.
What I say, I've had enough of this now. Beg your pardon, terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that?
Mr. Naruhodo, we mustn't give up.
What do you mean?
If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may well decide Mr. Natsume is guilty.
She's absolutely right.
We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully.
They claim Sasaki-san must have passed from the location of the incident on his way home from Yuri Books, but... well, I guess we're raising an objection. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed.
Explain yourself, counsel.
Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from Yuri Books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsumi could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way round. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the opposite route back to his lodgings, and is the most obvious perpetrator of this crime.
Objection!
But, yes, I've got it. Obviously, you must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home. I've already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection. That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from point A to point B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. I don't believe this. I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you, insightful jurors? But even if that is the case, the defendant still... I agree with Lord Van Zeeks, wholeheartedly in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean... We, the members of the jury, are completely convinced now. Very well, in that case, I hereby call upon the members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh. It would appear the jury is leaning as unanimous. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably. Mr. Narihode? No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow. Those are the odds of Corey not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defence written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defence's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses. Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with the Nipponese whippersnapper and his own uncursed refusal to throw down in his alley. What? Okay, I somehow lost the ability to read there. Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. Okay, I think I might have to finish it here because my voice is beginning to go. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this birthday stream. Save again because I can. You're welcome, Willow. Thanks for showing up. And thank you. It's been a pretty good birthday. I mean, insofar as they are at my age. So yeah, stream-wise, I think I'm on Nick's channel. I think it's Nick's channel. When a bunch of us will be playing Dokapon Kingdom, which is basically imagine Mario Party was Dragon Quest and you could kill each other in the game, of course. Then on Friday, I'll be on Nick's channel definitely for some more Dial Town, where we'll be getting increasingly unhinged. And thank you, Nellis. I'll have a good rest of my birthday. I think I'll eat some pancakes tonight. Because pancake day isn't the only pancake day, you know? Every day can be a pancake day.
And then I'll go to bed early because I've got to take my car to get some new wheels tomorrow. So let's see who's live. Oh yep, and thank you again to Cecily for the raid. And thank you Wikifu for the bits. And thank you Freezing Alpaca who followed 21 hours ago. Oh, and Fun Dragon for following an hour ago. So yeah, let's see who's live. The Bunyip Man streaming some Planet Zoo. That seems like a nice chill time. So yep, we're going to raid the Bunyip Man. Hey, so yep, hopefully I'll be able to see you all for Dokapon Kingdom. I don't know if we're co-streaming or not, so I might be doing that. But yep, not much else to say. I'll probably also do some sewing tonight. I'll probably upload some news about my sewing project to social media. But yeah, we're going to raid out in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment and subscribe please. It's still my favourites. And comment on what your favourite tabletop RPG species to play as is, I guess. And why it's tieflings.